Currently, my professional duties, I'm a full-time lecturer in the Department of English, and I teach a variety of writing courses, mostly creative writing, writing for the media, and I am also the GWAR coordinator on campus, which sounds fancy. It stands for the Graduation Writing Assessment Requirement, which all students in the CSU have to meet in order to get an undergraduate degree. So I oversee that program and then volunteer as a mentor in the LGBTQ+ mentorship program. Those are my big broad stroke duties on campus. I was raised in a house with both parents being educators, and I think teaching is in the blood. I don't think we get a lot of say about it. I think it's definitely a calling or alluring. I declared English as my major my freshman year, first semester, because that had always been my strongest subject. And the first time I taught, I was in grad school here, and I just fell in love. Like, I was going to say day one, but day one I wanted to throw up because I was so nervous. I probably fell in love by like day 3. Once I decided on teaching, I always thought I'd probably be a lit professor just because my background is so literature. But when I got to teach writing for the first time as a graduate student here at Stanislaus State, I completely fell in love. Being somebody who struggled a lot in school, I was kicked out for truancy in high school, which is hilarious. Having some definite struggles with identity and fitting, I feel like especially with my first year students, I feel like I can often sort of relate to where they're coming from. Also grew up like ridiculously poor, so like sometimes it's like, I get it. I think that it helps me be really mindful about like not having busy work, right? Like just like really trying to scale things back. Like I won't assign a textbook unless I know we're going to use 70% of it. That's like my cutoff rule. Like I'd like to think that I'm like still sort of like down to earth, like kind of real world as much as is possible as a 41-year-old, middle class white female. But I do try to like really get where my students are coming from and to like empathize with what it's like to be, young in this climate, in this world. So it's only been 4. Only 4. Yeah, not too bad. I was gonna sell UOP short, but I'm not going to. UOP is, obviously is really broadening my understanding of structural inequalities and anti-racism and all this stuff that like I feel like you have to be knowledgeable about to be an educator in this day and time. And so my first school, I think I probably mentioned this in class, was a private Bible college, very small in North Dakota. I think there were like 300 students at the time that I attended, and we had like white glove inspections for like our rooms, and it was in my hometown, and that's where both my parents were teaching. So I went because it was like low tuition or whatever. I think it was actually free tuition, but everything else was expensive. And I was a missionary major, which is very different than where I ended up in life. And I think that I learned so much in that year about who I wasn't and what I wanted to do differently. And so I think like in many ways that is how that one was influential. And then I moved to California, and I had to wait at least a year to get residency in California. And so like by the time I entered MJC, I was like really hung. I had missed school and learning and all of that, and by then was declared English. I love that campus. Like I go to the games. I really try to. It's where I think they do an amazing thing over there. And then obviously Stan, I was here for a long time. I did 2 years undergrad and 3 years grad, and then have been teaching here for 14. So obviously this place has shaped me, not just as an educator, but definitely as a person. I like grew up here basically. I think I was 23 when I transferred over, 22 maybe. It's home. Stan State will always be home, and it's stretching me sometimes in uncomfortable ways that I'm really grateful for. And my therapist always, anytime I get down on myself, she's like, good people are drawn to good people. She's like, so you would not have the people in your life that you do who are so good to you, who support you, if you also weren't a good person. And I always like really hold that. I like any kind of game. So obviously video games we talked about card games. I love board games. I like engaging with people, and I like doing so in ways I really I love a trivia night at the bar. I am still very, very passionate about reading and writing. Those are lifelong loves. I really like to be outdoors, camping, floating the river. Love to get my dog out for pretty long walks, but we're both basically walking space heaters, so we don't do the heat well. So I like to go to the movies, the theater, live music. I go to probably at least a concert a month. Yeah, so anyway, yeah.